The Stray Dog, translated by Brian Spooner. A square and a few small shops, a butcher's, a baker's, grocer's, a couple of cafes, a barber shop, all concerned with meeting the demands of hunger and satisfying the most fundamental needs of everyday life. Both the square and the men who lived in it, almost burnt away, almost roasted alive by the omnipotent sun, longed for the first cool breeze of evening and the shade of night. The men, the shops, the trees, the animals no longer worked, no longer moved. The stifling heat weighed down on their shoulders, and the fine dust gently swirled against the bright blue background of the sky, rising and settling according to the density of the constant traffic. On one side of the square stood an old plane tree. The inside of its trunk had tottered and fallen away, but with long persistent effort it had spread wide its gnarled and twisted branches, and in the shade of its dusty leaves a broad platform had been set up where two boys selling nuts and rice shouted their wares. In front of the cafes, thick, muddy water pushed its way slowly along the job. The only building which attracted attention was the famous Tower of Airmen, but it was only partly visible from the square. In gaps where the bricks had fallen away, sparrows had built their nests, and even they were quiet, dozing, because of the intense heat. Only the noise of a dog, howling from time to time, broke the silence. This particular dog was a Scottish setter. He had a gray snout, and his paws were black, as though he had been running about in the mud and caught the mange. His coat was wavy and dirty, and above his shaggy snout sparkled two eyes which betrayed a very human intelligence, the suggestion of a human soul. In the darkness which had overtaken his life, something infinite surged in those eyes, an indecipherable message cut just behind his pupils. It was neither light nor color. It was something else, something unbelievable, like the eyes of a wounded gazelle. But not only was there some similarity between this dog's eyes and the eyes of a man, but a sort of equality was visible there. Two big brown eyes full of pain and torment and patience, such as can only be found in the face of a stray dog. It seemed no one saw or understood these looks of suffering and entreaty. In front of the baker's, the errand boy hit him. In front of the butcher's, the assistant threw stones at him. If he sought shelter in the shade of a car, the driver came and kicked him with his heavy studded boot to amuse himself. And when these people all grew tired of tormenting him, one of the boys who sold rice took particular pleasure in tormenting him further. For every howl he raised, a well-aimed stone hit him in the small of the back, and a burst of laughter broke through the noise of his howling. The man who had thrown the stone swore, and the others joined in the laughter as though they were in league with him and slyly encouraging him. It was to please God that they all heard him. They thought it perfectly natural to earn their place in heaven by humiliating a dog, a creature which their religion had pronounced unclean and cursed, and which had 70 lives.